Money can't help you. Rich man, I feel it too. God is nearer than, he must be nearer than. All together now, it is of the strongest of the structures in the night. We got to take us to the night. If you have strong faith, you will stay alive. If you live with love, you shall survive. Things and times so rough, don't it get so tough. We never get enough. The Lord is nearer than, the Lord is nearer than. Yes, he must be nearer than. Things and times so rough, don't it get so tough. We never get enough. The Lord is nearer than, he must be nearer than. Now what we are gonna do? Money can't help you. Rich man, I feel it too. The Lord is nearer than, he must be nearer than. Oh yeah, this is the strongest of the structures in the night. We got to take us to the night. If you have strong faith, you will stay alive. If you live with love, you shall survive. If you have strong faith, you must stay alive.
Hey, moving forward, yeah, forward, march, march, till we get justice, march, 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 resist injustice, march. Even if blood run, we will not back down. We keep on going. We keep holding on. We got no guns and no nuclear bombs, man. Unity make us strong, strong, strong. Why should we be silent while we are being down-pressed? We must rise up on our feet and protest. March, march, till we get justice. March, 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 resist injustice. March, beatings and tear gas, rubber bullets and tasers, water cannon, still we are gallant. Live ammunition, still hold position, keep the resistance. No give up, we give thanks. We won't be silenced by their violence. We'll be chanting right to the end. March, march, get justice. March, march, march. Resist injustice. March. Oh, this burden my ancestors carry, hoping to turn a new page in our story. Still we struggling, blood, sweat and sorrow. Will our children fight the same battle tomorrow? We must overcome through the powers of the Most High for the betterment of the children. March, march, till we get justice. March, march, march. Resist injustice. March, 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 till we get justice. March, march, march. Resist injustice. March.
Greetings. Yes. Greetings. We there with you? Yes. Ironic that he's saying racial injustice. And it's not going away anytime soon. So, unlike previous activities, events, and discrimination that we just scream for a while and just pack up and go home and dig a hole and bury our loved one, and yeah. Well, I'm going to bring it again and again and again and again, because it's offensive, it's abusive, it's intolerance. And when it's not small acts, everybody make a joke, and they're news journalists, and they behave like they're comedians. And them go on Sky and BBC and make joke and say that the slightest thing, even our civil servants will scream institutional racism. But what's important to acknowledge or examine is that these ones who are speaking now, this is a transition. They are young ones, unknown features, and they're saying the same thing. It's only that they're making it to a joke. You see? But last year, when Labour was being ostracized, vilified, and battered based on racism for a particular people, there was no jokes, no laughter, and no prove this and prove that. It was that those names that were called should be asked to step down, and the police should conduct some investigation. And all those things did happen. And many people lost their positions. Many was forced We don't know if they were guilty or not, but they were forced to step down, and some was dismissed. Many were dismissed. But when it's us, they take turns and having amusement. And they have the audacity to say that is nothing we can prove. And since the George Floyd event or murder, and anyone was paying attention, they would have seen how the British TV screen and advertisements and so on certainly had a racial picture. We became prominent. A way of deflecting a reality that racism is with them. And then when they had the remembrance for the war, there we were. But someone should have asked, did you find it kind to bury the Africans along or side by side with your own people, with named graves? Not just marked grave, with names, named graves. You know, not the anonymous Joe Blocks. It's sad. And I don't know where all of our seniors does be. And when they get their position on Sky and BBC, they don't do the references. Them just go there and be apologists for what? We need to beg the question to be answered by them. I tell you people, we need to really examine ourselves and the scope that we should be using is theological teaching, theological education, theological practices, and see where that takes us. Because we're not stupid people. But why we do the things that we do when we're abused and victimized, I don't know. Why do we do the things that we do when our children are taken from us? And we have to go, obviously go bury them. And the coroner gives a report. And the complaints services that we are using is the same part of the same structure of the people them, or who we know and they know were responsible for the loss of those lives. But the coroner always stipulates very clearly that our people have taken their own lives, or they had some form of illegal substance that played a part in their death. So it's going to be interesting when the case for George comes up. Is it going to be an O.J., Michael Jackson, an O.J. Simpson type of case where the world can see it should be? Because the world saw his life taken from him. So we have to be grateful to those people who actually use the social media. It'd be very interesting to find out what the coroner will be saying as a cause of death. And they did started to say that we have liver problem, we had heart palpitation issues, and so forth. We had respiratory problems, etc., etc. Not that someone induced or stop the circulation of oxygen from that person and prohibit that person from being a natural, normal human being, but was brutalized physically, aggressively. You see, this is the thing that is worrying when you look at these words and the executions of these people, how they execute their duties and their hostilities towards us. Because there's no other people. There's no one else. Them could be drunk football people or just drunken people. They be so cordial as they should. But with us, nah. Nah. It's a different behavior. And that needs to be looked at carefully. And we need to scream and say that these people who are trivializing racism in relation to African people, them should not hold on to no position, and they should not be sitting down in any dialogue unless they're opposing, and their opinions and views should not be publicly aired. Because why? Let them do that to some Jewish persons. And maybe they are. But who knows? We need respect. We need to be respected. And we're not begging for respect. We need to be respected. That's what I'm saying. And I think that's what a lot of us are saying, but are scared at the same time.
Calling the meek and the humble. Welcome to Blackboard Jungle. So don't you fumble, just be humble.
people have to remember that we were captured. Our ancestors were captured and brought into the province of the Europeans and suffered at the hands, feet, the bodies of Europeans for hundreds of years. And the word that was used was slaves. But we were not servitude slaves. We were labor slaves. And all from a barbaric conditions and things and exploitation is what we have received. We here in the 21st century, we are servitude slaves all across the Caribbean and South Americas and North America, and still haven't received honorable respect as human beings. And we are still waiting for freedom. Better say we're still waiting to be freed. Because to be freed is to be taken back where you kidnapped us, snatched us, chained us and bound us from. That's the start of the free. Once we then reintegrate ourselves, as in my grandparents, my great-grandparents and grandparents, on the continent, then we can say, freedom at last, freedom at last. Oh God Almighty, I'm free at last. That hasn't happened. And you trivialize our condition in respect of a horror to which you created yourselves with yourselves, and then have the audacity to look at the African and say that we should be grateful for what? To still exist? To be grateful to still exist. Because all the atrocities and the genocides you have done to us, we're still here. We're the children of those slaves. But you expected us, so much of us, to be jumping around like you have trained so much of us to be jackass mules. So we can't distinguish life, freedom, and prosperity through our own vision and our own feelings. We only discover those things through yours, because you're still navigating our lives. So we are just, we call them things that you had, minstrels. You call the tune, and we dance. Or we run, or we bat a ball, or we jump high, or we sing a chord and play an instrument. And you're gratified, you're entertained at our expense of our humanity and dignity. Don't you ever ask yourselves, did God create you to be on top of the African man? Is this what your Noah story is about? Your Ham, Shem, and Japheth is about? And there's my people, some of them who's so much in love with you, that are prosperity and healing pastors and don't do nothing, absolutely nothing, for their brothers and sisters except be minstrels. And you're sending them, you're destroying their souls and destroying us who participate. This is not jealousy. This is not religious challenges. This is actually true. Why ain't there on the continent saving lives and healing all those less fortunate peoples, especially children? Why aren't they there? You've turned us into the spectacle of the world to have a laugh. Watch when we finish with this thing, you're going to understand. But just because some of us, we take it as a news bulletin for the few hours, and then we shift and go somewhere else and don't pay no attention and gone. And there are people in Minnesota and Portland and some other parts of America that are still protesting for justice for human beings, particularly those called African people. And the mass majority of those people are Caucasian human beings that saw your wicked and evil ways. And they don't want to see it anymore. But now you've locked everything down. Even the liberal media forces are not broadcasting or mentioning anything to do with those demonstrations. So sometimes we don't even know who really is being sincere to us, are sincere for human values and human rights and human dignity. We can't tell. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. Cannot trust you all. Dangerous people. Dangerous. And you will look us in our face and smile and then turn around and tell us or tell someone how much you care. You even go to the point where you will say that you love us in a believable manner. We can't trust you. But we're going to keep pushing that we get you all in court. And we get back the life of our children. The generation, even with this covert thing that's happening. And we will raise a generation that love themselves and are proud of themselves and have superior confidence in themselves as Africans, so that their children will not be victims of you. This is our problem. You keep making us victims. But then there's a problem again that we can solve, We're still among you. So you have every right to live the way you want to live. And we're not dictating how you should live. All we've been asking is just don't shit on us. We've been asking that. And you know how serious this thing has been? When we came among you, to your requests and your choosing, to help you rebuild and pick up all of your broke up infrastructure after you fight among yourselves. That's how you repaid us. That's what I'm saying to my own people. We ain't telling the story, the reality of what the hell have taken place here in England, particularly in England. Come like everybody want to receive some money upon them tongue. And then those whose tongue work a different way get some money to erase the memory from them brain. So them hard drive have pure viruses upon it. And it's virus that they accepted. And a virus that just come out and hang out and just say, "Cho, they will go in there and find out what happened." No, they willfully accept those viruses. Now that's our problem. And we have to sort that out. And we have to sort that out rapidly, because our children who still alive, some of them, will be accessible to Rufuses among us. Because we don't have educational facilities and we don't have spaces, we don't use spaces to commune with ourselves, but to speak about Jesus Christ and tithing and prosperity, aspirations and desires, and trickery in relation to healing people. It's a charade. And if someone is vexed with me, you can vex with me till cow jump over moon and camel go to iron needle. Because you can invite me to any, absolutely any ministry. And I would be extraordinarily polite, noble, vigilant, and tolerant. And if them can remove any ill feet from me, I will tell even anything that's on Mars, hallelujah and amen. I tell you, and I don't need fortunes. So you can't say, well, you would put some things in my pocket. No, I don't need that. Give me health. First, detect what ill health I have. And then proceed to your healing. But then you'll be quick to say, the only reason it hasn't worked is because you don't have faith. You see? A door is always open for you. Misusing words. You always say that. You always say the reason why the Holy Ghost not work with him, or the Holy Spirit not working with him, because he doesn't have faith. He doesn't believe in our Lord and Savior. So for those reasons, he cannot be saved, cannot be helped. So what we need to do here is baptize him and teach him, train him how to believe. You're trying to make a force ripe fruit. Not possible. And that's the escape for all those poor people that have this feeling that you are going to do great things. You always do great things for them. Heal them for their arthritis and rheumatism. Sort out them financial difficulties and everything, and nothing happened. You say this to them, and then take them to a course of bathing. But you baptize them. And then tell them, until you have faith and believe in a Lord and Savior, your situation will remain but the same. And they don't have no other place to go, nothing else to do. So they will continue to try you, and you know that. You all know these things. But because the mass majority of us who are not there do not meet and discuss our affairs, you don't get challenged. So all of you are so comfortable. You're comfortable in your wicked ways. So these are things that we do. Not the white man. He train you all, yeah. But we do that to ourselves. We do those things to ourselves. Until we make these adjustments, like Liverpool made some adjustments. It wasn't all about money, you know. They made some adjustments in their defensive line. How to shut up shop and not to be so wide and communicate and respond to the communication. Not just communicate and stand still. Communicate and respond. And then you see a back four that was collectively working. Now inspire the engine, which is the midfield, to perform. To perform. Same thing happens in basketball. Everybody can score. But if you don't have good defense, you will score and they will score. And maybe they have defensive strategy and them turn up the heat on their defense. Now you're not score as frequent as before. So that's why you will lose. Because you fall behind and them continue to be scoring, you fall behind. And before you know it, you're there 12 points behind. You think, so, okay, 3 threes, we ain't back in the game. There's no 3 threes because the defense got you. And why is the defense got you and you're not scoring? Time manage the affairs. Time. This thing not go on for hours, you know. Time manage your affairs. Why all of that? That's cooperation. They're teams. They have a space. Then practice, reason, and then they go and perform. Where's the space that we're using? We're not. Where's the space that the Holy Spirit and the pastors are using? They have auditoriums. They're using the very schools that are closed right now. They were closed for the students and closed for the religious practice. Now they're open for religious practice and closed for school because of the summer period. Are we all there discussing what we didn't do for our elders in this dark period that we're in? No. Watch them on TV. the prosperity, them are going like nothing happened. It's some white ministers that is talking revelation because the black man, them pastors, have exhausted that. And I knew that. I said they can't go there. They bashed that. So they must keep in superannuation. So they won't dare interfere with revelation and then put a spin on it in relation to this virus. Dangerous people. So some white man them are run that. And them a fix that with Bill Gates. And them a fix that with 3666. Now next week, this weekend, the pastors will come in. Because those men them, they weren't shotgun riders, you know. They're the real leaders. And the same stupidity is on the continent of Africa and across the Caribbean. Always among black people. The Bible Belt in America don't behave like that. They do not behave like that. When I talk to T.D. Jake and the Bible Belt, the Caucasians in the Bible Belt of America, they don't behave like this. They do something completely different. They're actually living life. They have farms, they have plantations. Listen, they're multi-million pound people, dollars people. Them have acres and acres of land producing. And where they're talking about prosperity, pastor getting rich, and his family and him friend, and the charter commissioners and their friend. And our condition and circumstances remains the same. No pastors came out and had a hullabaloo about our children, them taking each other's lives. And since the pandemic, the pandemic, things has abate. Strange, isn't it? Also, no terrorists. Strange. And the war upon terror, strange. But the wars have beaten up Iraq and Iran and Syria and Yemen and Libya remain. I was giving them prompts when the man said, listen, all these hostility needs to cease. But they were just words. And America's still going on with their war business and their armed struggles and their threats. And we're not in a position where we're asking what actually happened, where are we, and what are we intending to do, and what can we do? It's a strange state of affairs because we're into this thing about following the leader. I know for some it's like, wow, choose something else to deal with. But that's how we are. We're so neglectful of ourselves. And then we wonder why situations or things don't change. Because we don't brush them underneath the carpet. We just pick them up because it will make us popular for a minute or two. Or it's the in thing to do. And then we move on to the next thing. And then we wonder why our conditions, our circumstance, our situation remains the same. And then some of us meet up and say, wow, last week I went 3 funeral, And this week now 4. Not realizing to say, well, you know what? We ain't doing anything about anything. Not that we meet them and say, boy, you see that court case there? That court case there going on some way in a star. It tough out there. And my notepads, boy, I don't know how them jurors work this out, But the people them who are represent we, they're in there. You know what I mean? They're really in there. Them not try look good and wear proper suit and everything. Nah. They're on it. I can't miss a day. But we're not there. We're not there. We're at the cemeteries. We're not in the courts. We ain't changing nothing for ourselves as a people. Individually, maybe we're apologetic for something and move on. But collectively, and dislike the abuse and loss of our children's lives, isn't that valuable? Rhythm.
If history repeats itself every few 100 years, we don't want to end up in slavery again. Nation against nation, black brother against black brother. When will this all come to an end? So fight the war and let the winner bring peace. Bring those down pressers to their knees. Fight the war and let the winner bring peace. Bring those down pressers to their knees. Check out yourself. Are you really free? The world is moving back into slavery. Everybody wants strangers. No one is willing to die. Others watch heroes fall, and women must cry. Don't sit there in the background saying we shall overcome, while your brothers and sisters, ammunitions and guns, fight the war and let the winner bring peace. Bring those down pressers to their knees. Go fight the war and let the winner bring peace. Bring those down pressers to their knees.
Yes, there's some people out there must have asked themselves a question and said, he's banging away at Christianity. It's not ours. Don't try paint it in Kemet. Don't try paint it in Egypt. And don't try brush it across Ethiopia and all them things. It's not ours. It's not. So, work hard, trod the continent, and examine, investigate, and even stay right here and know that that word was concocted by Europeans, Christianity, okay, and all its remnants is theirs. They obviously has borrowed and plagiarized from all over the place. And they took some things from the Greeks who were in Kemet. I know everybody refers to that. But there's none of us can say definitively what it is that they've actually extracted from the Greeks that were educated and attended Kemet. We can't definitively say that. What it is, what part, what words, what chapters, we can't. But we're fascinated to say, well, yes. And then they trickify us by saying, when like a Muslim, we corner them say, well, they don't have the original, but this is what the Greek says. And then we say, all right, tell us what the Greek says. And them can't speak Greek, and they don't have nothing of the Greek to show us or to refer. Them they keep referring, but they don't have anything. And then we have another question to ask. Why do you always refer to the Greek? And then you had this place of Constantinople, and you had all these different peoples that gathered from all your corners. The Greeks weren't involved. So why do you consistently referring to Greek? And the Greek, and you don't say if it's Greek tablet, Greek papyrus, Greek stone, what Greek? Then when you corner them again, them start talking about Hebrew. And we say, okay, who among you speak the Hebrew? So them take these people that want to call themselves Jew, Askanaki, and them start to learn some Hebrew. Unlike we in the diaspora, we don't learn no language but French. So you see, when we get cornered and them called offside, and we can't do nothing more. Why? Because you can't speak nothing else. See? So at least them got a group of people that they will fight racism with and for and defend that can speak. Some of them can speak Hebrew. Some of them can also speak Amharic. Oh, yes. And now they're in Palestine, them can also speak and understand Arabic. They're not from there. But them take it to learn. What have we done? No. See? So, I'm not beating. I'm saying it's about time that we move somewhere else. It's about time that we look at something else. The same people that captured our grandparents, the same people that abused them, the same people that plantation them, the same people that institutionalized them as in jails and everything, the same people that made them into domestic mules and horses and donkey. We follow something we think that he or them themselves had. Should not we want to explore who we were? And should we not be wanting to know about ourselves? How do we get stuck in wanting to be like the said people that captured us and abuse us and offend us and dislike us? And we know from experience they're totally racist, whatever that damn word actually means, which I'm going to go into soon, right, and so forth. That means we are the idiots, not them. And we behave like we have rights among them. How stupid is that now? We behave this way. And they like us to be thinking like that. They do. They welcome us to be thinking like that. Because once you do, you're mentally trapped, and anything that happens to you, you have no grounds for rebuttals. Yeah, you can rebut, but you can't change it. Because you voluntarily accept it. Then they turn around and tell you, you know what, you're not welcome. You must know by now we don't like you. So if you don't like it here, move. That's what they say. If you don't like it here, get on your bike. But if you're staying, do what we want. And then they call us whatever they want to call us. And then they say whatever they want to say. So now with this dark thing we're in, who the hell is going to employ us? Hey, you're not thinking, eh? Yeah? Is Richard Branson? Is Bob Geldof? Is the Queen? Who is going to employ us? Which computer? If you're not swagger with a computer, can't work. If you're not, it wasn't with a company already that requires you to use a computer right now, can't work. If you were signing on and didn't have no job prospect, I get no more money. I tell you, 13 weeks, no more. 13 weeks, no more. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Where are we going to go? Who are we going to ask? Who's going to give me refuge? We're going to pay we bills that we're going to owe. Who's going to credit us? Where is our bank from our sovereign islands that be looking after its citizens? If we ain't got dual citizenship, we're in shit streak. And if we didn't save anything, we're really in shit streak. Now, if we ain't got those skills and swagger on that computer and have some kind of skills or training for all kinds of jobs, we have just become unemployable. Now, where's these black or African corporations, these black businesses? Where are they that can turn around and start employing some of his own people that are going through hard patch? What are you going to do? Go to the church and do what? Prosperity preacher do what to us? See? That's what I'm saying. We stuck. So, wise people, sensible people would try something else. Or they will say, here, what happened? You see the way we have this thing? It calms my nerves. It soothes my soul. But in terms of development and living, functioning, it now work. So we have to put that down for faith and get something up for material development. And that's what I'm advocating. You see? Because I'm not telling you how to go find God. I just know that your pastor play games. He's supposed to steer your spirit and not tell you so that him can see nothing. God never make him no prophet and no messenger. And he definitely refused to be a shepherd. And then totally refused the training to be a fisherman. Wants to be a pope. Wants people to see them as prophets. Woo! They give themselves all of these titles, but they want to be popes. They have great aspirations to have their own monastery. It's good living. I don't know. I'm assuming. So don't get it twisted. I'm a Muslim. And I pray to God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I die a Muslim. You understand? I'm a good serving Muslim. Not a part-time, shabby something that I make people think say one thing and is doing something else. Nah. So I'm not begging or trying to persuade people to come this side. But if you ask me how this side operate, which I would love to have that opportunity, I'd be more than willing. But I'm not there to captivate people to say, well, come over here so we better. You understand? Right? If you ask me now, I tell you, yes, we are. But better than what? You understand? I cannot say we're better than Protestants and this, that, and that. No. The problem that has is that God is not a human being. And God don't have no partners and no associates. See? And all this humanology that so-called human beings want to run up and say God should be a she and it should be a he and nah, we don't play them type of games there. You see, that's it. And our prophet is not God. And our prophet did not see God. And nothing see God and live. So there you go. You understand? And we firmly hold to that. And we know a person called Isa, the son of Mary, Miriam, who was looked after by a gentleman named Zachariah. Yes. And who had the forerunner of a person called Yahya. So Jesus now work with us. And some apologetic Muslims humor you all with this Jesus because you're saying that Jesus is Christ. And we would like to think that that's what you're saying. So we say, okay, what did he do? Only to find out there's two different things. There's a lot of difference. So we can't take the BMW and make it into a Honda and then make it into a Lamborghini and all of that. It's a BMW. The only reason someone would say all these things is because they don't know nothing about car. So, you understand? Nothing about reading or anything, but maybe someone go trick them. Oh, take the badge off and put another badge on the thing. That's trickifying. It's not to say that because the car drive a certain way, the person who's driving the car supposed to say, boy, you know what? This is not a BMW, no. Nah. They would change the label. And the person would think, say that the Honda is a BMW. Whatever the car is, them just change the label. You see? Okay. And trick the people. Or the person. You understand? So I am not demeaning my mother or my sisters and my family. Because a lot of my family believe in them they want to be followers of Jesus Christ. Right? And no matter how you try to change them and tell them find Christ, them stay that way. So what am I saying? If you think I'm disrespectful, to you, then you have to ask my family if I'm disrespectful to them. And that's the one that's most valuable to me. You understand? That means that you just want to have an argument in terms of what you would generally want to call or perceive to be disrespect, without understanding that we should not be involved in any Christendom stuff. You understand? Leave the white man with him thing, right? Embrace something of the continent, right? And then we'll probably find out that that's where we did come from, and that's what our people were doing. Whatever it is, we have a right. You understand? We eat potato chips and all kind of different things. Is that our food? We name Michael, Arville, Peter, Paul. Is that our names? No. We wear all kind of clothes. Is that our attire? No. So when are we going to wake up and say, here what? We want to be who we were. See? Is that difficult? But then you want to take their book and make people believe say that, make you believe say that something's happened. How is it that you can do all of that? And it's God that we all want to serve. How is that possible? It's not intellectually prudent. It's not common-sensically based. It don't have no sensibility. What it does have is fear of ourselves and aspirations and desires to be like the one who captured us. Why? Because we spent so long a time among them. That's natural. But when we come of age, should not we do our ancestors proud and say, hold on, we need to step off of this. Yes. And find our way back home. We have a problem. Our so-called ambassadors deserted us for money and love of the Queen and her country.
I am the conquering Lion of Judah.
Listen carefully, you know. You understand? Listen. Rasta, how you leave the Lion of Judah and pick up King James Bible? How is that? How did that happen? Did Marcus Garvey tell you, say, look to Africa for the crowning of the king and take up a Bible and then tell other Rasta, other people that His Imperial Majesty is a Christian? And then some of you say, His Imperial Majesty tell you, say, him is Christian. That if him tell you he is Christian, you say, hold on. I know you we need then. You understand? I know you. We need Menelik. And that we should have had. Get vexed till you're blue. Come reason with me, because you use that to validate yourself. So if you not validate yourself correctly, should I not tell you? Oh gosh, man.
I am the conquering Lion of Judah.
Sing!
Stand up with me, Jah. Rastafari is my religion. Natty dreadlocks is my culture. And no one can take it away from me. If I'm eating a slice of bread, I'm gonna share it with my brethren. If I am drinking a cup of tea.
Since 1972 or 73, you know, young Living Thompson, how much more explanation you want? Eh? Stop it, man. You're not dealing with a general, you know. You're dealing with real things. See? Oh, okay. I like myself too much. Big head. My head can't get big no more, man. Listen.
It's time for man to stop and look into ourselves. You see me I say?
Yo, you see how what me I play now? Principal. Yeah, he's upgraded himself in the classroom of making you all understand, you know. Him not there just pushing over. You understand? Him can clock anything, anyhow, any place. So YouTube, back off. Listen.
It's time for man to stop and look into ourselves. You see me I say? the world. And me hearts, black or black and white or white. Ain't it? Every nation of us who wrong from right. Ain't it?
Even us, we look upon the Muslim communities and we look upon the Muslim, them start look upon us. Since George Floyd situation, whoa, you want to see, right? And we see that even the television broadcasts for the Muslim, atrociously racist. Yes, I'm telling you. And we also see that they are make so much steps into Africa. Why? Prosperity is in Africa. And everybody wants a slice, want a piece of the cake. You understand? Asian man big in Africa long time, but the Asian Muslim is now making bases in Africa, saying that them are give so much support and means of charity and all kind of thing. At least they're not pretending that they're healing anybody in England or as Muslims. They might go there and get clean water and so forth. We who are Muslim here now, we're in a position where we can challenge them and say, here what happened? Are you actually doing something sincere, or you are just making moves to benefit yourself? You understand? And your people, your nation. You see? All right. Because we're on a good wicket. Not like the other people them that when I say we not follow. You're not on no goddamn wicket. You understand? Because you have eyes open, but your heart, your system is blind. Okay. We see now that when them show in their movies or dramas and everything, there's not a dark skin. You have all Arabians and you have white people. And I'm saying, you wait till we come out, not come out on the street, wait till this covert thing, we're not going to have enough questions to ask of her. And many of them want to try to say on the phone, that is not something that them did, that them realized and they did intentionally. And we say, well, who's the producer of these shows? And you're telling stories of Africa. And all the subjects them that you have is white people. Africa is a black continent. Did you not recognize that? Why when you show India, you don't show white people? And it was like, wow. I said, yeah, you're never in it. Because it's fashionable to take everything away from black people. It's fashionable. Now you have to understand that they've been taught by the Caucasians. They have been taught by the Caucasians, and they prefer to see themselves in that light rather than under people of color. It's only when them start get beat up and pushed down and disrespected and disregarded that them say black, Check Asian people out, man. You understand? And them owe us enough. Why? In all the 60s, them, it's our fathers and uncles that represented them, protected them. They don't employ our children. They have never employed me. When I asked for a job. Yes, one of my good friend them and families that won pack. That job never happened. And it's not that I never turn up, and I was living very close. just about 5 minutes. You understand? 15 doors from the major headquarters and 5 stores. And it still has never happened. But it's a good thing that I wasn't needing that to live and pay rent. It was just one of them questions to ask and see what the actions and response were going to be. And this went on for several months. It never happened. We sit next to each other and study. We sit exams opposite each other in the same assembly hall and everything. Yeah. We play cricket together. We kick football together. We eat food together. Hey, boy, but when it comes down to living and standards and everything else, it's a different matter. We even praise together right now. And we've been praying together for many years, right? And if I did listen to them, I would have been a Muslim long time. I would have been reading Kiswahili and Arabic inside or upside down, backward and twist forward. You understand? That part of things, I didn't engage with them, and they wanted me to engage in that. I can give them credit with God Almighty for that. They wanted me to learn these things. You understand? But they never give me a job. And they're not my friends now. They're my brethren, and they're my brothers and sisters in Islam. I never tried to ask for a wife among them. I never. You understand? I never. My African woman, them attracts me. I like a Chinese though. Rough principle, man. Listen. I do this, we make you out, them little song boy out there know say that when Principal draw tune, you know, you see the version them, we have them for we DJs and singers. Don't misunderstand and think say that, you know, yes, and we roll and we are tend to roll and we big-headed to cha. Hold this. Yes.
Of your own destiny, yeah? Go down on your knees and beg Jah to rescue me. But you have to work hard, you know? Tell them now, rise. You not kill it, tell them. Yeah, and the youth them down in the ghetto and the slum, tell them. Come one day, you will overcome. Come one day. Feel it out of Islam. Come one day, you will overcome. Come one day.
See, and that we wait for, and that we have to work towards. That day where we overcome. We have sung so many songs, we have chanted so many things at the Naya Bingi, yeah, RUZ, 12 Tribe. We have done all of these things. You understand? And it's not gone in vain, but time, no wait for no one. You understand? It's how we execute. It's not just saying something and sit back and say, boy, we'll look for star for drop from sky, we'll look for milk and honey, we'll look for this. Listen, it's about how we do what we do. And what our feel is that we don't do anything. And we have no place where we congregate and discuss and have some agendas that we stick to. See? So the church needs to be open and the pastors them need to change. And we needs to be the beacon for them. You understand? Because we are the same people. That's what I'm saying. Right? Pastor can keep doing what the hell he's doing and I can keep doing what the hell I'm doing. And if there's no one out there saying that none of us is supporting the massive, then we're supposed to be eliminated. Why? It's because we're not being helpful. I mean eliminated by somebody executing anybody. No, we just dismiss us. Because we are misuse time and we are misdirect people. Simple. We want to be going forward. There was no obstacles in Moses' way. Who said? Huh? It's just that God chose him and him had to tell the people precisely what God required them to do. And when the people them get too stubborn and ignorant and everything and keep sending Moses back to God for say this, that, what color the sheep should be, how old the sheep should be, how tall the sheep, and all these things, God got fed up of them. And he made Moses understand that he's not as strong as he should. So Moses had to go on a journey to establish patience, tolerance, and everything else. and which the Bible don't show you, but you know, we in Islam can teach you that. So then after him come back now, God sent him, told him to take the people them off, and they went in the wilderness. See? 40 years. Okay. Generation change. New people come. Elderly people them teach young ones. Females that was, what you call the thing, well nurtured, and man them that was brought forth new children, raised them correctly, had no other influences. So a generation will come, and then Joshua was given the task to lead those people, teach those people, take those people to the land which God is pointing them to, and grow. That's it. So I am saying, boldly saying, all we have to do is trust each other and have places where we speak to each other and look at our agendas and work towards that. At the end of the day, if people want to pray and everything, which is natural and it's right to do, we do that. Nothing wrong. But we know that we be building on us. That's what we know be doing. We know that we be speaking and praying to God to help us to be good people, to be upright people, to be truthful people, to be virtuous people, and of all things to protect us from evil among ourselves and externally. That's it. And we're good to go. Because of God we all want. And it's God we have faith within, all of us. Every black man and woman. Even the presumptuous one that want to say they're atheists like these Europeans. They are God-fearing. It's in our system. Every fabric of our bodies, that's where it is. No matter how much years them had we, no matter how much misuse them misuse of us. And every human being, matter of fact, is like that. But it's just that some have so much years of suppressing it and become evilous people. And you can see who they are. They're not at ease unless they're fighting and beating up and threatening other people. They're not at ease, at peace, unless they're threatening and beating up and bombing and turning somebody's land upside down, exploiting it and turning the people them inside out, and then tell one set of people that them going to support them against another set of people, which they're all brothers and sisters and everything. So they have an international civil war. Them create an international civil war. And them have the audacity now them to go and bomb the place and kill the very people that them say they're with and the other people them. So it's the same people them put me against my brother and sister and mother and father. And them kill us and make it legal because they are the judge and juries. You ever see any of them go to the Hague? They're always about capturing other people that don't look like them, and they're always about telling the law that them says democracy, what them can do and what them cannot do, and they must be exempt. Come on. Is it God you work with and you follow them? You're joking. You're joking, man. Seriously. It's about time we wake up and learn something. In this pandemic, we don't have... Hey, if the Asian man them know, decide to go back to India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, right? Because of the hardship that's on them with their business and everything. Because that's what's happening also. Where are we going to eat from? We're going to eat genetically 100% modified food. We don't have nothing of our own. Nothing whatsoever of our own. Can't we see what's happening? Do I need to keep saying this? And that's what we need to do. We need to be repetitive. We need to repeat things until it sinks in. That's what school does. That's what education does. A constant reminder not to forget. You understand? So then you say, well, you learn. So how do you learn? When the exam comes, now you remember all the things that you've been going through for what? 5 3/4 years? Or nearly 6 3/4 years? Yes. That's what it is. So if you don't pay attention, don't repeat, don't follow up, how would you pass any of the tests? At least understand any of the subjects. Whether you pass or not, understand the subjects. Because it's not everybody that has to pass that shows they're very educated, you know. There's some people that don't have too care for school, but they're there, they pay attention, and the general things they learn. All of a sudden, them come out of school and them flourish. You understand? So sometimes it's smart people, sometimes them have the gift for the gap, sometimes them just skillful. Right now, none of those things are going to work. Can't you understand where I'm going? None of them things are going to work, right? If you're not skillful at that computer, know how to use a computer properly, not switch it on and play a game, you know. You understand? Make spreadsheet, this, that, and the other, and write competent letters and so. Listen, no work. So what are you going to do? Sooner or later, you're going to start saying, oh boy, these white people. No, it's ourselves. We never took care of ourselves. Plus, we never look to Africa and say, hey, listen here, why you never send for me? I want to come home. Make it easy for me to come home. I don't want to hear nothing but no goddamn visa. I want somewhere to live. I want something to be able to do and so forth. I want some land that we can irrigate and everything and have some food and, you know, feel like a king. Yeah. Because my great-grandfather and my grandmother missed the opportunity because these people have kidnapped them. You understand? And you owe me, right? You understand? You owe me this. It's my right. And that may I say to people too. We have a right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mighty Diamonds, listen.
People get ready, 'cause the time has come. Repatriation is a must.
You wanna know I say me clever already, innit? Me bright, innit? With a courtesy of principle. You know that already, innit? See what I mean? So, I saw we stay. You understand? Can't change. Won't change. What to change for? We're bright already, man. And we grandparents, them grow we. You understand? So if anybody out there jealous of we, you can stay there and be jealous till you can turn blue. If you turn blue, black, that means you love yourself. Anyhow, we have one of our giants, you know. Yesterday the thing gone round. And the last 2 sessions me play, me say that I'm gonna do a rock back with Principle, against Principle, with Principle, but also against him, you know. And one of the tunes then me say to him, not to him, is Conk Shelley Rhythm and everything. And then we get the news that Conk Shelley, House of Joy Shelley, Music Man Shelley, Businessman Shelley, everything Shelley to write it, right, in pass. So for all them families, condolences and everything. So we want to play a couple tunes, because a man that we meet and a man that me do things for, yes, Conk Shelley, and you know what I mean, we talk about him today, him sound, and the people them that play him sound, and the House of Joys them that him had, and so forth, you know. And we say we call that him challenge Metro, because It was a big sound, very heavy, and Metro was the daddy of London for weight. So we say, well, he must get for understand or hear either before him come to London or while he was in London, him get for realize that him cannot be the heavyweight champion of London. That position already being held. So we can't recall him and Metro playing. But what the brother recall is that Metro was in 4 aces and Shelley was in 4 aces and the law was called because Metro was going on, there was a power surge. And I said, blow what I true, you know, right? You understand? Because Metro used to sometime build an amplifier right in front of your goddamn eye because you're going away and everything. Him increase an amp right on the spot, you know? So sometime he might take all the voltage. He might take all the voltage, man. You understand? And the Stuart Newington police, came to 4 aces. Not to raid the place, you know. It's because the area got drained of the power, of the electricity. And that is something that a lot of people, there must be enough people still alive can recall that incident. I call it an incident, you know, in a Dalston Lane 4 Aces club, you know. But Shelley, we want to play some tune that him put out there, so some tunes that him release, right? I'm going to do my little bit because all the other man them that know Shelley was involved with Shelley, either getting some music for them sound, music from third world, body music, and everything for them house and so forth. Then we'll do their thing. That's what he brought to the table, Kong Shelley.
girl to me. Ready, I'm ready, 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 baby. Come on and talk with me. Come on and tell me that you want me, girl. Come on and talk with me. Come on and tell me that you need me, girl. Come on and talk with me. Because I'm ready, child. I'm ready, said ready, ready, baby. Come on and talk with me. Come on and tell me that you want me, girl. Come on and talk with me. You know you mean the world to me. Find somewhere you can roam. You're not my style. You're running wild.
I work so hard just to make her satisfied. And no matter what I do, she is still unsatisfied.
Where do the chick? She must be sick. She must be want a fancy. Where do the chick? She must be sick. She must be want a fancy. Because she jump out and me big trumpet. Man me say she go like she nearly dead. Man me say she jump out and me big trumpet. Girl I say she go like she nearly dead. Me say me here she gonna airport. Me here she gonna airport. She got with her passport. Say she got on a free port. She call me not the joke. She go give me one joke. But when me catch her in me go round, me give her little massage. Me say she run left her blue dress. The girl just a go like a aristocrat. The girl just a go like a idiot. The girl just a go like a democrat. The girl just a go like a aristocrat. But when me catch her in me go round, and me give her little massage. The girl they a Mickey Mouse, and the girl they a Mickey Mouse.
God is getting dangerous, and I can stand the pressure.
Take up on me bed, she a go like she did. Put up on the floor and a juke her some more. That little girl is a traitor, and her face favor greater. Whoa, her face favor.
You've been riding quite a while, child. Oh, yes. You've been jiving, just like me, 'cause that's your style. Oh, you've been riding, you've been riding quite a while, child. Oh, you've been jiving, just like me, that's your style, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember the days in school. There wasn't a time when you didn't treat me cruel. Just wait till I get my hooks into you, yeah. Then I'll show you what a fisherman can do, yeah. Fisherman can do, yeah. Fisherman can do, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, you see what I mean? Yeah, so we stay, man. So we want to leave you and go away, but here what now? Back to the racism and back to the victimization of African peoples. The German government, Angela Merkel and her Christian Alliance Party or whatever it is called, right? Offer Nubia, listen, for genocidal treatment during the colonial era. And anyone who look history and have read and researched the eugenics program of England and Germany in Nubia and across the continent of Africa, but specifically Nubia, the amount of people that was killed. Seriously, these people, these Germans, at least they've been discussing reparation and everything with the Nubian activists and revolutionist groups and everything that organize themselves properly. They don't have 60 groups or 60 set of people and all both people shouting and screaming. They have a body that is totally respected by themselves, representing their people, their relatives, their ancestors. And the government, German government, offered them $11.7 million as reparation for the genocide of thousands of people. Obviously, you will understand that that was all rejected, you know. You understand? And this has taken the Germans many years to come to some form of rational agreements and acceptance of the crimes that they've committed. But they were moving away from being charged. Anyone who been following it would recognize that that's all the symposiums that was held. The Germans' priority was to move away from charges, from being tried for crimes. And Britain just sent their observers constantly without responding in any which way or form, and sometimes acting like they are goody-goody two-shoes in relation to these tragedies. They were all involved. $11.7 million. Not 11.5 marks, 0.7 marks, you know. Not 11.5, 11.7 million pounds. You understand? Yeah. So when other people them start talking, they were speaking for years to say that that word genocide should not be used in the charges that Namibia was placing on Germany. It's just like what happened in Rwanda between the Hutsis and Tutsis when that was a genocidal massacre. That group say that word should not be used there. That word should only be used with them. You see? So we have to watch the space. Now, also, we have to remember not to forget that this month here, there were several incidents taking place constantly, but these one were more known in terms of integrated, schools integration and school disintegration and schools segregation, apartheid separation taking place in the United States of America. And the abuse and social provocation and trauma and the stigma that African peoples received throughout the years, but in these years of 1950 all the way up to 1963. Terrible passes, terrible experiences that hasn't been rescinded up to this time. What says the world? What says The Hague? What says human rights? We're not respected. So I am leaving the rest which I've got here for Thursday, because the rest is racism. The real treat was racism. You know? People have to remember that when we're misused and abused like that, the trauma prohibits our children and even us from striving for excellence. It prohibits us. It infringes on our psychology. It infringes on our ability to learn, to rise, and to express our humanity, which we have a right. All human beings have a right to do. But some people are not reading this racist abuse and this toxic environment that those who legislate and term section this and section that, and those home offices and all these people who pull all of these tools and institute stop and searches and all this type of thing, is black people. It's our children that get stigmatized and traumatized, vilified, and abused. There's no chance of striving for excellence and having confidence in academia with these type of experiences. But the state knows that it should not be happening. Or some sincere human beings knows that. But the state doesn't disregard it and penalize those who execute this type of attitudes and behaviors, and who instill these forms of provocations. Negative they are. And social trauma and stigma within the workplace and within the legal apparatus or the legal institutions we the citizens cannot change it. And no help comes to alleviate the tensions and the pressures that we endure. Because we're not good at staying the course and highlighting the pain and the agony that we receive, that we have been receiving and we continue to receive. And let them see the image or the images that misuse us. They turn us, our children, into fodder. But then they show some regard for us. And that regard is in theatrics. That regard is in sports and entertainment. That's the only regard. That's the only time. You remember the Colosseums of Rome, the performers. And we're stuck in that. Because we get self-praise there. Running was to run away from him. Now we run for him. Racially abused, and we play for him. Dislike racial chants, and we're playing football. It's a job. It's a job. It's one of them jobs that we need to look at. And running. We're still running. Why? And entertainment, plain amusement. When in 1963, 67, we couldn't go in a school. Could not go in a school. Could not drink water from the tap. The tap happened to be a white tap for white people only. We couldn't go to a toilet. It's a white toilet only. Come on, man. Let's be sensible and reflect. And stop letting people tell us it's too long ago. No, it's not. That ugliness continues to show its face. That abuse, that toxic mannerism and attitude still shows its face. Darwin and all those documentation needs to be eradicated out of the system. That's a great start. Lecturers needs to recruit those things. It needs, that's a great start. The apologies for the human zoo and the attractions, all of that needs to be apologized for. The birth control, the eugenics program, them things needs to be brought to book. We need to go to court. We need to have human rights legislation. We need to charge nations for the atrocities that's inflicted on African peoples. And we don't even know how much behind the scenes have happened in the Caribbean islands. See? Don't let the sun distract us. Because the only thing that was going was the cricket, and it was fetch. And who was doing the fetching? The black man was. They were hitting the ball around. Grace and all them, that's what they were doing, you know. The black boy was running after the ball. when the bull went out of sight, we were asked to run and go seek the ball. Fetch. Negro. Boy, fetch. It's not a joke. As apartheid left South Africa, there's apartheid in Palestine. Don't you not see? Or you're blind, or you don't want to see. But the World Criminal Court seems to only find black people. I thought Tony Blair and George Bush lied. I thought there was mass murders. I thought there's a place called Guantanamo Bay that was meant to be closed down, and all the people that were captured inside this place was given due process and everything else, so that you have some either illegal justification for keeping them there, or you have justified reasons for them being there. Obama is gone. How much of those people have died? Where are they? What has happened to them? And what's happened to Iran, to Iraq? What has happened to all the despicable things that happened there? What's happened in Congo and Angola and Zaire? Oh, have we forgotten Zaire? I mean, gross atrocities. What's happened to Roger Sylvester? What's happened to Joan Gardner? What's happened to Stephen Lawrence? I mean, did it not take long? Has it been actually concluded? I mean, yo, you see them tune there? Them tune there was put out by Conk Shelley, Third World, Body Music, and Third World was a label that he established. You know. Yeah. Bonnie Whaler has nothing to do with Count Shelley, it's just that Principal Keep Draw the rhythm track from all them different producers and thing across the world, you know. So, and we have to also keep Bonnie and his family in our prayer, you know, because he's not been well, and we don't know what the situation has been in relation to his wife. She were missing, and we don't know what the condition of him with the stroke and so forth. And we have a brother here from Topnan, Bully, that lost his life, you know. So we send condolences out to Bully family. See, so one thing, people, you know, is for sure, we will die. So, you know, it's a sad event. You know, it's an event. It's a sad situation. You know, when your loved one and people that you know and you was really involved with and everything. But, you know, it's one sure thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell you straight away, it's one sure thing. You know what I mean? No man, no human being, no nothing, even animal, not living forever. So the innings that we're given, we need to just take care of it. And right now, I represent the children and represent the elders them, because we want an infrastructure develop. We want some people that would have good mind, so you die tomorrow, the program still runs. Okay? Too much of us just did it for the minute, and once that minute, don't show them the money, them gone somewhere else. Right? That's the truth about us. That's why when it comes to communing together, we can talk, you know, we can bring out things. But when we're in isolation like this, some of the most despicable things that we do, nobody that's doing here and nobody don't know. You understand? People just feel, You see? But when you're congregating together, you understand? Things come out and we change ourselves. We don't change with clothes. We change ourselves. Because we're representing ourselves. And we fall in love with ourselves. You understand? And we have dignity for ourselves. Right? And we all want to see prosperity for ourselves. You understand? That's the need. See? And I know that that can happen with pastors, them respecting us and we respecting them and we share the same space and the pastor change himself into a shepherd and a fisherman. You understand? And we start looking after ourselves and looking to Africa. And those of us who want to go home, as in Africa. Not the Caribbean islands, into Africa. But there be people who want to stay Caribbean islands. That's all right, said way. But there's a great proportion who want to be and want to finish them life on a happy note, God willing, outside of all this trauma that we have been receiving. And then we are raising children in the same place. We need to check ourselves. Because we are wrecking the next generation. And we are creating fodder for people, them. You understand? And that's not the way we're supposed to be assessing and evaluating our lives. Nah. This tune I go play now, there's a lot of tune that, lot of artists that Shelly make money for. You understand? Yeah, right? And those of you who know Margaret, you want to know, say, you know what I mean, Shelly make Margaret huge in England, right? A lot of other tune, but Margaret was one of the, yeah? Oh, Margaret, yeah, that tune there. And Delroy Wilson, you know? Yeah, enough Delroy Wilson rhythms and everything. It make big to him work and what he undertaken doing, you know, as a businessman in the music business. So here's my little piece. I'll give you a little piece of Delroy and then I'll play the diamonds so we're gone. Give thanks. God willing, Thursday. I have to understand how to get rid of this text up there because it has said around date.
Baby,
bring some recognition and some money into. Better stop there. Yes, guidance, car. You get myself in a trouble.
I feel we sit or tell them feel low it.
Here we go!
People get ready, 'cause the time has come. Repatriation is a must. Fret not yourself, although the time is so rough. Jah is the master in whom I trust. That's why we give chanters and praises. Ooh, every day. That's why we give chanters and praises. And now we look for down in the ghetto. Time is so rough. Babylon system is so unjust. False leaders, be careful what you're doing. 'Cause time will tell on you. That's why we give chants and praise. And now we look for better days. That's why we give chants and praise. And now we look for better days. Oh, you had a vibe, children. Oh, you had a vibe. Oh, yeah. Open your heart and let your love come in. Mankind is living in sin. That's the way to go, my son. Until your days are
I feel
done.
we sit or tell them feel low it.
Here we go!
Yeah, listen to some profound words. You see? Over and over and over the millennium, the decades, we've been very, very good at that. Because it's what we feel and what we also experience. And we spot the light and make it shine bright on those things. All we want is respect. Not, I understand you. Respect. With honor. That's what we want. We don't want humor. Just want some respect. And no one should have the audacity to tell me you have to earn it. Nah. You should award us and grant us respect. The British public and the British government. We never beg you for come here. You took our parents to help you reestablish yourself. After when I have when I fight, on a war with each other, and when a place come crumbling down, and then you need labor force and skillful people to help you, like a phoenix, reestablish yourself and your people. You have not told your people, that is the Africans that you captured, enslaved, and enslaved them, that gave you a brighter day and days and years. So you're still at fault, the heads of yourselves, because you disrespect us. And as long as I'm living, you will keep hearing this. You've disrespected my parents. You disrespected my grandparents. You're disrespectful. And you're going to have to pay for it. One way or the other. And I definitely know that God now let you off. I definitely know that one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now let you off. I'm telling you. Serious thing. So you can call your popes and everybody. That now work. You can hide behind monarchs and everything. That now work. See? I'm telling you. So keep watching the space. Now see that our children, you can't kill them all off. Who are you, Pharaoh? Now you got my people following Paul, a persecutor of the people them who love Christ, Isa alayhi salam. And you come with a slant. You came with a slant. And you do the same thing to us when you arrest us, choke us, strangle us, kill us, and your coroner comes with a slant. We want to know if this English that you taught us is the same English or it's a different English and different meanings, different connotations that you're speaking. I'm telling you, our life is not as valuable as a dog. We're not. But we were valuable and we were essential to you to get you back after the war. And like good servants, good slaves, I don't know how a slave can be good, but we were. What was required of us by you, we executed. And you got a national throne called the NHS out of it. And you got an excellent national throne called the railway service through it. And you got another excellent throne called transport, London transport, all Birmingham and Manchester. And your postal service. Oh, remember, we could have read, and we knew how to not stack shelves, but to alphabetically coordinate names and help you develop a system that is still used today, the postal system. And that same data, that same information is turned into data that's put into computers now to help the system functions. Royal Mail, who is our black ass and our blackheads that was exercised in doing such. But have you told your nation? So the despicable thing called racism would have been bleaked and bleaked and bleaked and bleak. Because they go, oh, what? All right, off, mate, cool, blimey. I didn't know you did all that, old boy. You see, that's how you are. But with no information, negligence, envy, steps in. And then the teaching among yourselves how to suppress us is applicable. That's why you do what you do. You get away with what you're doing. Let's see what happens with George. Let's see what the outcomes are. And let's see what the election brings. What that looks like. Thievery, maybe. It is very possible. But let's see. Guidance. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mighty Diamonds.
People get ready, 'cause the time has come. Repatriation is a must. Fret not yourself, although the time is so rough. Jah is the master in whom I trust. That's why we give chapters and praise. Ooh, oh, hey. That's why we give chapters and praise. And now we look for down in the ghetto. Time is so rough. Babylon system is so unjust. False leaders, be careful what you're doing. 'Cause time will tell on you. That's why we give chapters and praise.
See? And that's why we always have to give God Almighty thanks and praise, because it's God who don't do no injustice to us, and we do injustice to ourselves as a people. Other people want to continue to inflict injustices on us. Shouldn't we not be saying no more and mean no more?
It's time for man to stop and look into ourselves. You see me, I say?
Talk to the world, and me hearts black or black and white or white. In it, every nation of us who wrong from right. In it, dark or dark and light or light. In it, uplift the youth, them in the almighty sight. Remember, say we are all God's children. Different focus, different purpose, but a one man make us. We are all Jah children. Like a different nation, different education, but a one vibration. Time to kill out all ism, racism, criticism. Time now for love giving, and know where you live it is how you're living, and know what you give.
You see how we do what we do? You just have to follow it and think carefully. See? Because life is a struggle, you know. So we say jihad. Man, them out there get frightened. Yeah, it's a struggle. You just have to prepare to meet that struggle head on and deal with it accordingly.
Bad-minded people. Now watch them cause I saw them stay. Jealous heart people. Now watch them cause I saw them stay.
See? And we full of them, you know.
Now I'm not bragging. God gets the glory out of my story. He gave me the strength every day to do what I got to do. And he can do it for you too. All you gotta do is ask for it. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 say, ask and then you will receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open for you. Stop sitting around acting like you waiting on God. Baby, God waiting on you. All right now.
You understand that part there?
Jupiter. How the devil them a just in here? Green link, how are this? No energy drain. Huh. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I did think them where you chat, put you in a that spot. Nobody know I see you. Respect we take it back to the way you a act. Nothing we no happy give you. The last time we let you in, you try kick we out, so we not let you back in. Now you're outside and knock, but too late the shop lock. Nothing we no happy do you. Go away, go away. Go back to who send you. Good people condemn you. Yeah. Go away, go away. Good people not friend you. Dirty boy we condemn you. Yeah. Carry go bring come a little fry mouth. See people business and a spite out. Long time we a wonder over the inform of the news carrier we just a find out. Have your hands where you feed you come a bite out. Real people you come a fight out. Them a go put you in a hole where you can't climb out. I send round people chat from voice now. Go away, go away. Go back to who send you. Wicked boy we condemn you. Oh boy, go away, go away. Good people condemn you. Dirty boy we not friend you. Yeah.
That goes out to all of them mischief makers and bad-minded, hypocritical-minded people. Listen.
Lieutenant Stitchy and Fantan, Stitchy and Fantan. No matter what nation, no matter what nation, your heart a fi pure, fi see Zion. Why yo? Me no in a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote, and a joke. Get up every day and them a study be your evil. What's up you now your back and cut your throat? We no in a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote, and a joke. Get up every day and them a study be your evil. What's up you now your back and cut your throat? Me no in a way them mean. If I hypocrite rule, me no play that neither. Man heart back slow like ice and the bad mind make them bitter like a cedar. Some of we can't drink and I rubber with the island of his mother, yeah, she a reader. Them a smile and a deal, but me know them no real, none of them me no feel them neither. Them a act like Benz and behave, but me know the whole of them a broke down Cartina. Hey, God them no good, them no good. Nobody no love them in the neighborhood. Them no good, them no good. Nah sure no love me say like them should. Wow, me no in a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote, and a joke. Get up every day and them a study be a evil. What's up you now your back and cut your throat? We no in a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote, and a joke. Get up every day and them a study be a evil. What's up you now your back and cut your throat? Bad mind a sitting where me fling a fire pan. Now get caught in a them T-junction. When I mix, when I mingle, me bun bandwagon. Warrior for Jah we stand strong. All from you a giant in everywhere you get slay like Goliath. Never know say me a David with the sword for your diet. Delilah full of deception, Samson slay them in a the riot. Jezebel full of corruption, stop shot. That's why me no in a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote, and a joke. Get up every day and them a study be your evil. What's up you now your back and cut your throat? We no in a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote, and a joke. Get up every day and them a study be your evil. What's up you now your back and cut your throat? Me no in a with them pretend to be the children of light, but me know the will of them have an evil agenda. Them a try to attack, but that's when they father protect me. Them me no member, cause I could over evil, no wicked people. Could never be family member, too much temper. None of them could never fit all me donkey and back. Me no in a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote, and a joke. Get up every day and them a study be a evil. What's up you now your back and cut your throat? a nothing with no wicked heart people. Good over evil we promote. And a joke, get up every day and them a study be a heal. They want stab you in your back and cut your throat.
Man called Lieutenant Stitchy. Lieutenant Stitchy, they are church, you know. You see? But Lieutenant Stitchy care about the community and care about the people. You see? Okay. So him come and do a right couple rhythm and drop some social commentary in there. Things that take place in society and things that should not be taking place in society and things that needs to be changed within the society also. So where we reside, we're in someone else's land, someone else's country, someone else's law. So, should we continue to apply all that we have to it, or should we not look for what is solace for us? There's the mistake that we're making. God give us life. God sustains us. So we want to get close to God and give thanks to God for life and all the substances that God give us. Yeah? Okay. So that's not that's dear. That's to everybody. Then to be a religious folk to me is that we try and do the best we can with the life that we have, knowing that God is who give us life and everything that's here. Water, oxygen, and food. Right? It's man that put systems on them things. So once you understand all of that, then you understand how gracious God and glorious God is to human beings and to this earth. Okay. After that now, your nation of people, your tribe, nation, whatever, that you have to be part of because that's what you are. You understand? And God wants you to grow, to love that, appreciate that, fit yourself in there, and be tolerant among yourselves. And then show obedience and gratitude towards that which you're being sustained with. That's it. That's the key. Huh? Don't fall short and become greedy and gravelicious, and don't misuse people and all kind of something like that. These are vices. You understand? Because the same oxygen that you want, they want. The same food that you want and will have, them want, and they must have too. So why you rob them for, and why them a rob you for? Why you watch them for, and why them a watch you for? That's what God is saying. Keep the balance. Understand, you never make yourself. Everything that you have is being awarded unto you. Huh? Obey. Obey. So you have a virtuous life. You understand? Someone want to change that pattern and continue to change that pattern. So we're in someone in society and we want to know about we. So how can you adapt him to know about we? That is foolish. You can't adapt his life, his knowledge, his history to know about ourselves. It's stupid. Doesn't work. It's false views. So that means that somehow we've been hypnotized or we've been branded. And I better feel that we've been branded because of how much years we've been with them. And we've been educated by them in theological understanding and practical understanding about God. We have looked at him as superior, right? And then he comes with all these symbolic movements that he's done, and that's what also has corrupted us. So if we know that, or appreciate that even for a day, and try the opposite, then we can say, whoa. But if we don't know that, we can't try it. And if we was to say, well, I hear it as a good student, I'm going to now investigate and try because I want to be a scientist and conduct these experiments and so forth, then it's not food for thought. It's thought. Then we are rational people, human beings. The choice is thereafter. But until that happens, we're still following. Not following Islam, following Christianity. We're following a people. right? And those people have done plagiarize us long time. Then people have done misuse us long time, and we are voluntary giving ourselves over to our people without trying to find out who we are and what is our nation, what is our tribe, what is my language, what is my name. See? Very important. If it's just those 3 gems that we work with, wow, phenomenal change is bring about. Let me try to take a Chinese person or Irish person and do that to them for a week. Them not tolerate it. It's not they look for a fight. They're not tolerating it. But now if you say to them, here what now, what we have to do is you have to allow us to kidnap you. So we have to blindfold them. Well, we don't even bother, yeah, right? And then carry them somewhere. Like the continent. Not somewhere in Europe. And conduct the experiment for a week. And then ask them how them feel. And remember, you're not named McDougal anymore. Your name Kenyatta. And you can't work Tarzan. It's fictional. Now see how the backside them gonna feel. You understand? And you have a deity named Ogun. And you must worship Ogun. And kiss him. Hug him up. And if you cry, we make you cry for real. Mental torture. That's the drama that can help them recognize the reality of the trauma that we experience, but our ancestors had to bear. Those who survived. I remember we couldn't talk to you. So you have people that were educated, had a language, but couldn't speak. Maybe for years. Try to imagine. Try to conceive, not imagine. Conceive it.
Now, I'm not bragging. God gets the glory out of my story. He gave me the strength every day to do what I got to do. And he can do it for you too. All you gotta do is ask for it. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 say, ask and then you will receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open for you. Stop sitting around acting like you waiting on God. Baby, God waiting on you. All right now. 2 doors.
One evening we are going to translate that word for word, punch for punch, because that's coming out of the Bible. Okay. Guidance. Assalamu alaikum. God willing, we're there about. We have a video to show. So maybe run that Thursday early. Yeah. Guidance.